Hey guys, Jay here. So in this video today, I want to talk about my planned POB for the Lazy Juggernaut that is going to be remake in the current Freesia Legacy of Freesia event. And well, this is the first iteration of it. I am having the note here. There is a bare minimum requirement. So 2 divine is the minimum amount of money that you will need to actually get somewhat of a functionable character. I would recommend you to go for a 5 divine when you have 5 divine. That is the recommended amount of money that I would say that you should have before you actually start the character. And then for a little bit more expensive, it is going to be 15 to 20 divine. This is going to be relatively comfortable for basically all the content in the game. Hey, let's get to the actual setup, right? Please spend some time to read this one. I would not try to go for everything here. It should be a little bit too long, right? So for the bare minimum that you would require for this build to do like mapped and stuff, this is going to be a example setup, right? There's a bunch of unique items. You should have them. They're not very expensive. All of these are quite cheap. They are, I think the most expensive one that is absolutely required is right now the Immutable Force, which is 1 divine. Other than that, everything else is like 10 chaos or less. You can check the price here. This is the price that I checked just right before I create this video. So it is very, very updated, but it can change. Disclaimer, all right? I cannot do anything if the market actually change. And the important items that I want to talk about is Valerium. This one allowed the build to function. You don't have a lot of energy shield, you have a lot of life. So if your stun threshold is based on energy shield, 55 is the number here, then you will always get stunned by every hit. And if you want to do that without feeling horrible, because you get constantly stunned and locked in place, you need Immutable Force. This item gives you a lot of recovery for stun. So if you stun, it will be for a fraction of a second. Then you will basically feel nothing. So these 2 items allow the build to function. And you have H-Full Accursor. This is very cheap. This allows you to have single target basically, because in some situation in single target, the boss will not hit you, or it would do some random shit that does not count as hitting your character. And if something doesn't hit your character, it will not stun your character, and therefore you cannot trigger anything with cast when stun. We have a bunch of cast when stun set up here for damage, right? So these are the core items. For other items, here's your reference. I don't want to keep the video too long, right? For the skill, I am still going for the Vortex of Projection, Isanova of Frostbolt, and Frostbolt. These are for damage. We have the Punishment and Force Bomb for Curse and support. And we have Shield Charge for moving around. This is on the shield. And then we have the Auras, which is Purity, Petrified Blood, Purity of Element for some more resistances and dealing with elemental ailments, Petrified Blood, and Vitality. So you can use another aura instead of Purity of Element, by the way. You don't need to use Purity of Element. But it is very nice for a start, especially if you are starved on resistances. Here with, this is actually very, very good rares. You can see I have a lot of resistances. Why do I put this here? Well, because I would like to recommend a setup with Annihilating Light. If you want to do content like heavy single target, or if you want to do, for example, let's just say AFK Simulacrum, right? You would want quite a lot of damage, and this item is the most amount of damage that you can get. It is a staff with a very heavy drawback. As you can see, when I switch to the staff, my 200% plus extra goes to like 5 and 6%. So basically you have like a third of your resistances if you wear the staff. This is a middle row, right? If you have the max row, it's going to be 40% of your resistance. If you have a minimum row, it's going to be 30%. So Regardless, this is a lot of damage of a single target, and some situation you might want it. That is why you want quite a lot of resistances, and this is with flask up, by the way. So this staff, if you can cap your resistance with this staff, it is going to be very powerful for damage. But normally, in most cases, you should be mapping or playing the game with a shield and a scepter. And this is going to be a 2-item combo. Each one of them costs 1 whopping chaos. That is going to get you through the game basically. So Singularity and the rest of Courage. You can do the Atziri Scepter as well, which is going to be pretty good. It gives you some leech, but Singularity is just very good. Straightforward. And yeah. Other recommended items are the uniques. So Brass Dome, Legacy of Fury. This one is going to be very tanky, and this one is going to be giving you some extra damage. Legacy of Fury is 15 chaos. The Brass Dome is 10 chaos for 4%, like what I am having in the POB here, but 5% right now because the event just started, so people have not been farming. But this is not a very high priority item for a lot of people, so it should drop in price very quickly. Right now, the 5% is 1 Divine. By the way, because of the nature of the build, we are using a lot of cold and the code and the intelligence and the dexterity gem. Sorry, I was lost for word there. This item, if you color it normally, you should have trouble trying to have 6 off color or 5 off color. So you should corrupt it and then use tainted currency. So that is just a quick tip on trying to color this item. So because the tainted chrome doesn't care about the item requirement, so yeah, basically it gives you an easier time to actually color the items correctly to your build. And yeah, the items you can see more in the section here. I will put the POB link in the description. Obviously, this is the build. This is the video about POB. So if you have any question, anything unclear here, please ask me in the comment section, right? Skill also here, very self-explanatory, most of them, and I put life tap in here on all cast when done, but there can be another iteration where we just take blood magic, and so we can gain a support gem slot for every single other gems. I will consider it. Right now I am putting life tap. I think the final version that I go with in 3.25 set of Cowgirl, I actually take blood magic. So if you want to, you can test it out. Up to you. But you cannot sustain mana, so you will need to go for life, right? There is a gem that I want to specifically mention, which is Petrified Blood. This is a very powerful gem, especially when you are an Ancestral commander. Sorry. Ancestral Commander basically gives you a free Defiance of Destiny effect. Let me actually pull the Ancestral Commander onto the skill tree here because it is not in the POB, right? In the POB, by the way, I am putting here are the bonuses that I take from the actual Ancestral Commander, right? Here are all I put in custom modifier in the configuration section. But here is the actual ascendancy. So what we are taking is Ancestral Endurance. So we have a lot more endurance charges. And Ancestral Defiance. This is Defiance of Destiny for free. If you use the Petrified Blood, you cap your life at 50%. And then you mitigate 40% of the incoming hit damage. You will take that as dot. And you can recover your life to counter the dot, right? The strength of this effect and Petrified Blood is, even though your life is capped at 50%, your maximum life is still your maximum life, which means the gain 15% of missing unreserved life here is still 15% of your maximum life. While you are at 50%, that is actually 30% of your life, and it will just give you an insane amount of recovery all the time. So if you do not truly get one-shotted, you will always stay at maximum life, which is 50%. If that makes sense. I'm sorry. I yeah, maybe it's a little bit complicated, but if you play the game, you already know it. By the way, I forgot to take this, which bring the threshold to 55%. So yeah, that is the ascendancy, right? Is there anything else that I want to mention? I think everything that I really want to explain, I already explained. Other than that, this is going to be, yeah, again, please refer to the note section for like budget, requirement of gear, and if you have any question, feel free to ask me either in the comment section or you can join the Discord. I leave the link to Discord in all of my video. Hit me up there and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more footage of this build in action in a weaker form, which is a weaker ascendancy basically, which is the Juggernaut, you can refer to one of my previous video, right? I will put the link to one of it in the description and you can just follow the chain. I even, you know what, in this video I will put specifically the cheap version of the build that I made in the 3.25, the cheapest version at least. So thanks for watching again, and please like and subscribe if you think this content is helpful to you. Peace.